So as I was in the lobby a minute ago, and somebody came up to me and they're like, "Are you going to talk about the integrated resource plan?" And I was like, "I think that's what this entire show is about." And it made me panic for a second, like maybe I was at the wrong show. But they were mostly asking, well, are you going to just sort of tell people what it is before you start going into why it's important and complicated? So that does seem like a good place for us to start. Like, you know, ISR, RRP. There's no S or L in there. So anyway, help us set up, what is this thing that we're talking about? Why do we care? Yeah.
Is it on?
Yeah, it's on. So yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I can start, jump in. So integrated resource planning there's a law in Minnesota that says utilities, especially the investor-owned big utilities, have to submit these plans every 2 years. And each plan lays out what they're going to do for the next 15 years. So it's long-range planning. And then the Public Utilities Commission has to look at that and evaluate it and decide if they want to approve it or disapprove it.
They have to do it every 2 years, but it lasts 15 years? Wait, I'm confused. So
there's a lot of overlap.
There's a lot of overlap. So like, they did a plan a couple of years ago that goes for 15 years, and then we do another plan that sort of, is it updating the plan then, or is it a brand new plan every time, or?
It depends. Yes, it could be either.
Okay, so what?
I mean, it builds on, each one builds on the prior one.
Okay.
It can't just do an about face. Well, it could, I guess, but that would be unusual.
So, I mean, we're here tonight because folks with Community Power and other organizations, Citizens Utility Board, are trying to get folks involved in this process. So, is this particular moment particularly, interesting, or should we wait a couple of years and they'll just do it again?
This is a really big moment for Xcel and for a lot of utilities in the country, and especially in Minnesota. John said earlier, something like 70% of Xcel's electricity generation capacity, like all the power plants, are set to retire in the 15 years that we're talking about in this plan.
Really?
So those are enormous decisions and a huge opportunity of what we're about to, we are setting the direction for the next entire generation of where we get our electricity from.
So that seems like a really big piece, is that in the next 15 years, about 70% of Xcel's power generation is going to have to be updated or replaced, and this is the plan that is going to determine what that new sort of mix of power will be. Is that fair?
Yeah, a lot of it's going to come out of this plan, and those decisions last themselves, decades. So if you make a decision to build a new power plant, that's a 30 or 40-year investment that you're making and locking in. So it's a really, once you make those decisions, it's a really big deal. This is a big moment.